Attention passionate Montreal, Canadiens fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the Atlantic Division and it could shake up the entire conference. We're talking about a direct impact on Montreal Canadiens' path to another Stanley Cup run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Montreal Canadiens fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Montreal, CANADIENS FANS. Let's get to the news now, folks. Today we're diving into some of the most intriguing, game-changing rumors and potential moves that could really set the tone for the Canadiens' upcoming season. It's a story that's been buzzing in the NHL circles for a while now, but recent developments have only intensified the speculation. And honestly, it could be one of the most pivotal moments for Montreal in recent memory. We're talking about a possible trade that involves not just the Canadiens, but also a division rival, and how this could reshape the entire landscape of the Atlantic Division for years to come. So, buckle up because what I'm about to tell you might just be the beginning of a new chapter in Montreal Canadiens history. The core of this story revolves around the Canadiens' current situation with their second-line center position. For the longest time, there's been a lot of talk, a lot of debate, about who should fill that crucial role behind Nick Suzuki. And let's be honest, finding that reliable, consistent number 2 center has been a challenge for Montreal for quite a while now. They've tried different players, experimented with various line combinations, but nothing has truly stuck. That is, until now, if this trade rumor turns out to be true. There's a strong possibility that the Canadiens might be on the verge of landing Bo Horvat, the 30-year-old veteran who's been a steady, reliable force in the league. Horvat has been a leader on and off the ice, and his experience is invaluable. Over his 12-plus seasons, he's established himself as a player who can produce consistently, scoring between 25 and 30 goals in most seasons. And he's also a guy who brings leadership qualities that are sometimes hard to quantify, but are crucial for a team trying to build a winning culture. For Montreal, bringing in Horvat would be more than just about filling a roster spot. It's about addressing a long-standing issue with a player who has the potential to stabilize the second line and take pressure off Nick Suzuki. Imagine that. A veteran presence who can handle tough defensive assignments, win faceoffs at a high rate, and contribute offensively. That's exactly what Horvat offers. His net front presence and faceoff dominance are assets that Montreal could desperately use, especially as they look to compete more seriously in the playoffs. But what about the other side? Well, this trade isn't just about Montreal. The New York Islanders are also in the picture, and they stand to gain a lot from this deal. The Islanders, under new general manager Matthew Darche, have been ramping up their rebuild efforts and making strategic moves to position themselves better for the future. Since taking over in May, Darche has shown a clear commitment to turning the franchise around. He's made some bold moves, like trading Noah Dobson for draft capital, which signals that he's not afraid to shake things up. Now, with a projected salary cap space of around $16 million, the Islanders are looking to add some pieces that can help them contend sooner rather than later, and acquiring a player like Darche could be part of that plan. Darche, the former third overall pick of the 2019 draft, has been through a lot in Montreal. His time there has been riddled with injuries, including a recent knee surgery last February, which has kept him from reaching his full potential. But make no mistake, Darche's talent is undeniable. If he stays healthy, he could be a perfect fit next to Matthew Barzal, forming a formidable 1-2 punch at center that could give the Islanders a significant boost up the middle. And let's not forget, Darche is still young. He's only in his mid-20s, and with the right environment, he could flourish. If he manages to find success on Long Island, he might even sign a 2-year bridge deal, giving himself the chance to prove he belongs in the league's upper echelon and setting himself up for a more lucrative contract down the line. Now, from Montreal's perspective, making this move would be more than just adding a player or two. It's about creating stability at a critical position, something they've been lacking for a few seasons now. Having a player like Horvat in the lineup would provide the kind of leadership and consistency that can elevate the entire team. Think about it. A player who can reliably win faceoffs, take on tough defensive assignments, and score goals, especially in tight playoff games. That's the kind of player who could really help Montreal push toward that next level. And of course, his leadership qualities, including experience as a captain, would be a huge boost for a young core that's still finding its footing. Financially, this trade would be a calculated risk for the Canadiens. Yes, Horvat's contract might be on the heavier side, but it aligns with the prime years of players like Suzuki and Caulfield. It's a win-now move that also keeps an eye on the future. Montreal has always been navigating that tricky balance of building for tomorrow, while trying to be competitive right now. Bringing in a player like Horvat could tilt that balance in their favor, giving them a much-needed veteran presence who can handle playoff pressure and contribute offensively. On the flip side, for the Islanders, this trade signals a bold step in their rebuild. By acquiring Datch and potentially other assets, they're clearly committed to building a team that can compete in the near future. Datch's potential upside is huge, and if he can stay healthy, he could be a key piece alongside Barzal. And with the draft capital they're accumulating, especially with the deep 2026 draft class, the Islanders are positioning themselves for long-term success. The draft picks, prospects like Roy, Beck, and Kapanen, these are all players on the cusp of breaking into the NHL, and their development will be crucial for the Islanders' future. Now, let's talk a bit more about the prospects involved, because this is where it gets really interesting. Roy, Beck, and Kapanen are considered some of Montreal's top prospects. They're all close to making the jump to the NHL, and their development could be the key to Montreal's future success. Roy, for example, is a player with a lot of upside, and he's been working hard to prove he belongs at the highest level. Beck and Kapanen are also promising, and with the right opportunities, they could be regulars in Montreal's lineup sooner rather than later. For New York, having recent experience working with the Canadiens system and their prospects means they might have an easier time deciding which of these young players fit best into their long-term plans. And of course, this whole scenario is wrapped in the context of the ongoing rebuild that both teams are undergoing. Montreal, after a few challenging seasons, is looking to retool and get back into playoff contention. They have a talented core with Suzuki, Caulfield, and Slavkovsky, but they've lacked that veteran presence who can steady the ship in tough times. Horvat could be that guy. He's not just a placeholder, he's a difference maker who can elevate the team's overall play. His ability to chip in goals and eat up tough defensive minutes would give Montreal the kind of stability they desperately need, especially as they try to develop their younger stars and build a more competitive roster. Meanwhile, the Islanders are in a different phase. They're trying to build a team that can be competitive now, and this trade could be a big step in that direction. Datch's potential, combined with the draft assets and prospects they're accumulating, signals a franchise that's not just looking for a quick fix, but aiming for sustained success. They're betting on their ability to develop talent and make smart moves in free agency and trades to complement their core, especially with Barzal leading the way. So folks, what does all this mean for the Canadiens? Well, if this trade goes through, it could be a turning point. It would give them a reliable second-line center in Horvat, someone who can bring a lot of intangibles that this team has been missing. It's about creating a more balanced, competitive roster that can contend in the playoffs and perhaps even push for a deep run. It's about solidifying that core and giving the team a veteran leader who can help guide the younger players through the ups and downs of a long NHL season. And of course, it's also about making a statement, showing that Montreal is serious about winning now, but also about building for a sustainable future. Of course, all of this is still in the rumor mill, and nothing is set in stone. But the pieces are aligning, and the potential benefits for both teams are enormous. Montreal gets that much-needed stability at second center, a proven leader in Horvat, and the chance to push further into playoff contention. The Islanders, on the other hand, add a young, talented player in Datch, boost their draft capital, and reaffirm their rebuilding efforts under Darch. It's a story that's worth following closely because, if it happens, it could redefine the Atlantic Division landscape and set the stage for some exciting hockey in the seasons to come. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YOUTUB algorithm to keep recommending the latest Montreal Canadiens news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. And now, Montreal Canadiens fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Do you think this trade would be a game changer for the Canadiens? Would Horvat be the perfect piece to finally stabilize that second line and bring some veteran leadership into the locker room? Or do you believe Montreal should hold out for other options? Drop your thoughts in the comments below because your opinion matters so much to us and to the Canadiens. We're all in this together, and your voice is what makes this community so special. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, more analysis, and all the latest news about the Montreal Canadiens. So stay tuned, stay passionate, and let's keep the hockey spirit alive.